So group number 1, you chose the Moki Marble, and this is your reading. So maybe this person that you are going to be in a relationship with is already in a relationship. He might be considering trashing a keeper, and he might be like you can see in this picture, he's looking through his binoculars at ships, but he's already tied to a ship, and you might be this person might be searching for something better, and so you might meet this person at a ball or a party, and so if he's already involved with someone else, he might be the type who flirts with other women, and as soon as they actually flirt back, he shuts down completely, and he may even judge you and other girls for being like home wreckers, because he has some idea in his head that it's okay for him to flirt with others even though he has a girlfriend. But if someone flirts with him knowing that he is involved with someone, he finds them to be very disgraceful. So I see that you may actually know each other already, and so you may have actually been to quite a few parties with him, and I sense that whenever he gets a little tipsy, he flirts with you, gives you this Ace of Cups, and he might even tell you that he feels more close to you than his own girlfriend, and that he wants to end his relationship with his girlfriend in order to be with you. And then when he sobers up, he denies everything or uses the excuse that he was drunk to like get out of trouble. And so this may have been going on for quite a while, and if this is someone you already know, you may actually be getting into a relationship quite soon. But if it's someone you don't know, this will maybe you will be flirting for quite a while before you actually start dating. But I do see that eventually you will start a relationship with him. But I do get the sense that this person is someone who is not going to settle anytime soon. He will always be on the lookout for something better. Like, he is the type who wouldn't just settle if he won like $100 at blackjack. He would be the fool who would gamble the money he won in the hopes that he could possibly win again. And so he's also the fool that will lose a lot of girlfriends because he pushed his luck and flirted with other women while in a relationship. And so he might also be the type who can only give love and not receive it. Like, he needs to be the one in control. He wants to be the one showing you affection. If you show him affection, he might close off completely, and that is because he might be a bit narcissistic. He is only interested in how he is perceived in a relationship. He only does grand gestures to his girlfriend because this will make him look good. And so when it comes to actually receiving love, he will not really allow it because it doesn't put him in a good light, and it puts his girlfriend in the spotlight, and he doesn't want to share the spotlight. And so if he comes across as a good boyfriend, this will boost his ego and make him feel good and superior in a sense, and love becomes like a competition for him, and he kind of wants to win at being in a relationship, like win the boyfriend of the year award, and so that there is like this contradiction in his personality. Like, he is like the grand gesture guy in a relationship, and then he is out and about flirting with other women, but that is because he is constantly in need of confirmation from others. Like, he needs his girlfriend to praise him for being such a great boyfriend, and when that praise isn't enough, he flirts with other women to get confirmation that he is desirable to other women as well. And so I sense that he is actually, well, pretty narcissistic, and it might take a long time for him to actually be able to receive love from others, because he's not really that keen on showing any vulnerability, and so he might be a piece of work. Maybe you should be warned about that, but I also see that he is very much in need of introspection, and I think that he honestly believes that he is this selfless and giving lover. And if he realized that he was actually being selfish, he would maybe change his behavior, because right at this second he sees nothing wrong with his behavior. He's not really that self-aware, and he might have a really hard time understanding other people, and I don't actually think that is a permanent thing for him. I just see that he is right at this second completely unable to understand other people, because he has such a distorted perception of himself. He overestimates himself. So when he is in contact with other people, he compares them all with this overestimated image he has of himself. So he sees everyone as being wrong and himself as being right at all times. And so I think that if he gets his self-image more in line with in alignment with his true self, that he might actually be able to become a decent human being. And maybe when he discovers his true self, he might not have to seek confirmation from others, because he has been doing that because he is sincerely uncertain about his own identity, and so he needs to be reminded at all times how people see him, because he can't see himself. I'm not going to go to that extent and say that he is insecure about himself, because he is really confident in himself, but he just may have like a personality disorder that has made his true self hidden from him, and so he has been searching for this personality in all the people this identity in all the people he has met. This person is completely lost if he is alone for extended periods of time. So he might actually have had a really rough time because of Corona these past months. And so if this is not someone you've met who has been like toying with you for a while, then you will meet him at a party and you might notice that he seems a bit fake, like he might be trying to impress people by either acting really smart, or he might brag a little, and he might have a tendency to seek compliments or ask people for their opinion on something concerning themselves or like their own life, and look out for like empty gestures. Like if he compliments you for something that doesn't seem that heartfelt, and maybe if he like holds the door for you or pulls the chair out for you. I'm not saying that this is bad, I'm just saying giving you something that you can look for. It can be very charming, but beware that he might actually only be doing this because it makes him look good. So, but I see that you will actually be impressed by him at first. He might have a very charming personality and a lot of charisma, and he might also be very intelligent, but don't necessarily let that fool you. Like, I knew a guy once who was like a player at heart, and he had got the memo that women really liked musicians, and so he bought a guitar and learned a few songs, and he even got a musical note tattooed on his arm, and he did all this just to get laid. And so this dude might be prepared. Also, like, he might know what smart things to say to women in order to impress them. He's a magician. He knows what cards he needs to play, and so but I also see that he is generally like quite smart. He might be like even a bit too smart for his own good, like, since he may engage a bit in mind games, and he might be a bit cunning, but overall he is probably really good at what he does for work or or school, but until he stops overestimating himself, I don't actually think he will ever get the praise that he believes he deserves. So he might be very dissatisfied for a while that people are not valuing his work. He might even have started in college and dropped out because he didn't feel like his teachers valued him enough, and maybe because like his grades wasn't as good as he wanted them to be, and so maybe he felt like he was treated poorly and deserved a lot more. So he might have very high ambitions too, and if he actually achieves them, he will be truly very successful. But he might be a bit delusional, but actually you can fool a lot of people with the right amount of confidence, and so he might have a bright future. He is very intelligent. He is just not as big of a genius as he might think he is. But again, if he actually became self-aware, he would realize that he might not be a genius, but he is still more gifted than most, and so also with the toast in reversed, like I think that he might be fair-skinned, like light-skinned, so if that's maybe a sign for you. So, but like if you're up to the challenge of managing this person, I think you will have a somewhat decent relationship. Maybe this is a karmic relationship where you will not necessarily be soulmates, but you will learn a valuable lesson from this relationship. So that is what I see for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose this onyx, and so you have the giant card here. So this next boyfriend of yours may be very tall or broad, and you two will likely be night and day, so you will be complete opposites. And so I see that you will have quite a lot of conflict in the beginning, but this will actually become the creative basis of a great opportunity. So I see that this person might be a bit withdrawn, and you might be very social or vice versa, but you should be aware that this person may actually already be in a relationship, and because there's, well, this could be you having interest in like 2 women, but I see that maybe this person is more likely to be interested in 2 women, and so I also see that he is like the Knight of Pentacles, so he is very slow moving. He might be a bit slow to take action. He wants to be completely sure. Like you can see on the picture that this guy is waving a coin in front of the skeleton horse, and he has like a kite or a parachute or like wings on his back, so that when this horse rides off the cliff, he knows that this kite thing on his back will keep him safe. And so I see that this person may need full insurance before he makes the decision to leave this person, if he is in a relationship with another person. Like you can also see here, like, if I think that you might be this person, and his present girlfriend is this person, and so like you can see that he's lying on the floor here, catching a breath after like dancing with this other lady, and so I think he might be a bit overwhelmed with the relationship that he is in right now. He might be with someone who is quite high maintenance, and he might just be a bit tired and done with it. And also with like the 10 of wands here, he's a bit overworked by this whole situation with this other person. And so I feel like this is like the scenario he's actually in burning desire of. He is in love with you, and not just because his present girlfriend is a bit of a handful. I see that there is more to it. I don't actually think he ever really felt strong feelings for his present girlfriend. So I think he might have settled for her, maybe because she showed interest in him, and maybe he isn't really the type who gets a lot of attention from girls, or maybe he is insecure about girls, and so he is a slow mover. And maybe also with the hermit here, he might be quite shy, and so he might be a bit afraid of asking girls out. So this girl that he's with now might have been the one who took action towards him and asked him out, and so he might have just been so relieved that he finally was dating a girl that he just stayed with her, even though he might not have been that in love with her. And I feel like she might be a bit dominant, and he might be a bit whipped in his relationship, so he might have become very submissive, and I don't actually think he enjoys that very much. And I think that he will be very surprised to meet a girl like you who can both take action towards him and respect him at the same time. And so I see that also with like chocolate milk card, I feel, well, this is also about the opposite thing. Like you are good by yourself, like chocolate and milk, but when you are mixed together, you create chocolate milk, and so you are very different, but different in a way that actually mixes together really good. And also you could be the opposite skin tone than this person, so that's also that. And I see that, or you might be, although you might be the social one, you will not be the dominant one per se. You will, not that he will be the dominant one. I don't see anyone being dominant or submissive in this relationship you will have with each other, and you will encourage him to go out more, but I also see that he will encourage you to be more homesick, and so I think you will balance each other out. I don't know what I should think about the brain card in reverse. I don't think that this person is dumb or anything, but he he might just not be the type where everything comes really easy to him. So, but it's actually admirable. That's an admirable thing about him, because like you can have a high IQ and be quite dumb at the same time. Like sometimes when people are considered very smart from an early age, they become quite lazy and they don't actually go the extra mile to prove their worth. And so it is actually quite admirable when someone who might struggle a bit with learning actually works themselves up to a high position, and I think he has done that. I think he is smart at, he's good at what he does, but he has also worked a lot to get those skills that he has acquired for his job. And so like these people who like this are these are like the people who become like the greatest mentors and teachers, because they know how it is to struggle with learning, and so they understand completely what the students are going through and how to teach them in the best way possible. And these are like the admirable pillars of our society. And like I had a math teacher once, and he was like well known for being a mathematical genius, but he was a horrible teacher. He was not able to teach anyone math. So I think that this person could potentially become a really good teacher if that's what he wants to do, and or anything with teaching. And also with like the Knight of Pentacles, he's so patient too, and so he could be very good with kids. And I see that also this patience he has, he will be very good for your relationship, and because he knows things take time and work, and maybe the girlfriend he is with right now has taken advantage of how patient he is and eager he is to work for the relationship, to the extent that she might have like turned him into her slave in a way. And so I don't feel that you should necessarily feel bad for snatching someone else's man, because I think he will be much more respected by you. And also with the random attacks here, I see that this person has a really random sense of humor. Like, he might make jokes that are really silly and out of the blue, and he might also be the type who just says random things like fun facts, or he might be the guy who says, oh, speaking of light bulbs, like, what's up with light bulbs? And no one will in the room was talking about light bulbs. And I think this is actually one of the things you really like about him. I don't sense that this is the type who takes himself too seriously, and I think he's actually very humble, and I think he cracks jokes, and like when he cracks jokes about someone, that someone is always himself. Like, he never cracks jokes on other people's behalf. And I also see that he might be very busy with work right now, like, especially if he works with something that is very meaningful to him. He might be quite buried in his work, also because he's maybe a Virgo with the Hermit card, so he might be a perfectionist, and so he wants to pour his whole soul into everything he does. So you might realize that he might not have much time for you when you start dating, but I actually don't think this will bother you that much, because I see that you as someone who is very independent, and maybe you enjoy maybe you enjoy some like romantic gestures, but here and there, but you don't actually need his full attention all the time, especially if you are this socialite who is often out and about, mingling. Maybe you're not doing that so much right now because of Corona, but maybe when you two start to date, you will be able to mingle more, because I don't see that this relationship will take off in the next couple of months. Maybe you will meet in the next you might actually already have met him, but he will have to be completely single first, and before you start a relationship. And even if he's not in a relationship now, I see that he might be married to his work right now, and so he needs to clear his schedule a bit before he will consider asking you out, because he is also like a perfectionist, and if he is afraid that he will fail if he pursues the relationship too soon, he will wait. He is a slow mover, and he is very patient. I'm not sure that you are that patient, but we'll see. So I see that with the 5 of Cups here, he might have this pessimistic side to him, and he might not actually see you as an opportunity right away, maybe because he's afraid of getting rejected. And I also think that because this person is very empathetic, he might actually be very devastated by the feeling of guilt if he chooses to actually break up with his girlfriend, and so he might need a time after that before he dares to date someone new. He might also like feel like it would be too obvious to his present girlfriend and the world if he broke up with her and immediately started dating someone new. So know that you will be engaging in a process that can be a very, very slow one, and you might not have the patience for it, but I tell you that it will pay off in the end, because I see a union where you will complement each other very well. Also, if this isn't a present girlfriend, it can be an ex. He can have an ex who like swallowed him whole, like the little Red Riding Hood, and so he might have had an ex who like swallowed him whole under false pretense. Like, I'm not sure that's actually how that fairy tale went, but that's how I interpret it in this context. Like he might even have been catfished in the past, and if not, this could just have been a woman who tried to trick him in any way. Maybe he created some loans in his name, or maybe she tricked him into helping her financially, and maybe she pretended that she wanted a relationship with him. So he might have been burned in the past, and this might be the reason why he is so careful and slow moving. He wants to make sure that you have good intentions, and you might need to make an effort to prove that to him. But if this is a present relationship, then you should make sure that he is completely over her when you start to date him. And also I see that he might not have a lot of money, but he is very good with money. Like he might be really good at saving his money, and he's like not the type who makes big and stupid purchases. But I don't think he's cheap either. Like I think he will be buying you gifts, but he is very calculated, and he doesn't buy anything out of impulse. I see that he is, for example, completely independent financially, so he's not the type who calls his parents every time going gets tough. That is what I see for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading, and bye. Group number 3, you chose the citrine stone, and this is your reading. So, with the frog prince here, I sense that this could be someone you already know, like you might have already kissed him before. And I sense that if not, this will be someone who will benefit a lot from this relationship. I see that, and you will too, because like the citrine stone is here, and it's a stone of wealth and prosperity, and so I sense that this with this clown card here, I don't see it as like a clown, like a pathetic person or something like that. I see it more as like a performer. So he might be a performer of some sort. He might be an actor, or he might even do like card magic or perform in any way. Like he could also be a street performer or something. I don't know, but he's some kind of performer. He probably does something creative for a living, and he could. I sense that he might not have a lot of money right now. And I see that you, with this rich lady card, I see that you might come from a privileged background, and you might be well off. I'm not saying that you will be like his sugar mama, like helping him financially. I don't think this is like a pretty woman scenario, but I do sense that you will provide him with some security, like maybe he will move in with you, and so he will be able to pursue his career as a performer because he doesn't have to have rent to pay. And I'm not seeing that he will take advantage of you. Your mother, like the queen here, who's like in reverse, might object to this relationship. She might think that he's taking advantage of you. It could also be that like with him being like a performer of some sort, this could also be like a reassurance to you that he's not a queen, like he's not a homosexual. But anyways, I think you will be wise to invest in him. That sounds really cold, but I sense that he will get a lot of success in the future, and I also think that he will love you and actually be very romantic towards you, and this will be a wish come true for you with the 9 of coins here. That's normally a card of wish fulfillment, and so he might be a wish come true, and he will become a prince one day, and he will have to like thank you for it. Like you will be the one helping him get his success, but you will also benefit a lot from his success too. And I see that you also might also become involved in his career. Like, you might be able to build your success together. You might actually become partners of some sort. And so, although I see him as the Knight of Wands, and this card is usually, to me, it's usually the hidden and quitted card, the player who is only interested in sex and who's not ready or mature enough to settle. But I actually really don't see him like that in this context. Like, maybe he is just a go-getter in his career, someone who shoots for the stars and doesn't really think things through, but that may be a strength in his career, that he doesn't like waste any time on rethinking his decisions, and he just acts and thinks later. And that can be a great quality when it comes to career, but not really in love. But I don't think he is that way in love. I think he's a great guy. He might have a hard time sitting still, and he might be a bit eager to get his sexual needs fulfilled, but in a more passionate way and not a rapey way. Like, he might be very sexually attracted to you, and he might be really good at showing you how much he wants your body, and he might make you feel very sexy. And so I don't get any warning signs. I don't think he would do anything to you that you didn't like. And he's very romantic, but he might be a little fast when he's like really turned on. He might not really waste much time on foreplay, and I see that you might actually be very flattered by this. And but he might be the frog, and this and even though you will probably start to become more and more attracted to him as the relationship progresses, he might not be that physically appealing to you in the beginning, and so you may need to insist on him engaging in some foreplay. But I think he will take your demands to considerations. But really, I think that you will. Well, I do think you are actually quite turned on by him being so turned on by you, and this may sound a bit narcissistic, but I don't think you are narcissistic at all. I just think his excitement and passion rubs off on you. I also see that he will see you as a goddess, and he will feel like you are too good for him. And so this might be a bit of this might be a part of his transformation from frog to prince, because I see that he will try to make an effort to make himself look better so that he can be good enough for you. So he might start to work out and dress better, and you may think that this sounds bad, because no one should change their appearance for another person, but I actually think that this will actually make him gain a lot of confidence from, and maybe this confidence will actually help him as a performer, so you shouldn't feel like bad about it, and you should just be happy that he likes you so much, that he wants to change for you. And I don't think you will be the one asking him to lose weight or go to the gym. This will be completely his idea, and maybe he will have some friends tell him that you are too good for him, and maybe they will like joke about it, but this will maybe motivate him to make an effort to look better. And so as for like appearance, I see that he is he might be like well, he has like squishy chocolate card, so he might be darker skinned, and he might be a bit squishy. Like, he might not be completely thin, and he might also like have had his appendix removed. So I don't know if that's relevant, but maybe he has a like scar from that operation, so maybe that's relevant. I don't know. So that's what I see here. Pile number 3. If you liked this reading, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 4. You chose the Lemurian crystal. And so, so this person might be a bit young, and he's in learning mode, so he might be in school or studying, with the exemplar of the arrows, which is King of Swords, and also with Justice here. That's balance in this deck. I maybe sense that he might be in the field of law, or in the police force, or something with the law, maybe also a social worker, and I think that he could of course be an air sign, so maybe Libra or Gemini, or maybe an Aquarius. So he might actually be one of those signs, but he could also be very smart, and so I see that you will be equally beneficial for each other. Like, he's like you can see here, like you are like helping him do pull-ups by like sitting on his back, so that he can to help him gain strength. And he's like down here holding a net, while you are like on a balancing on a line, and he is ready to catch you if you fall. So you see a very harmonious relationship here. You will lift each other up, and with prohibition here, I don't think it's about like alcohol prohibition. I more see it as like a card mirroring like the status that the world is in right now. We are like all prohibited to do a lot of things, and so I see that maybe you will meet quite soon, or you have maybe already met, and so you might actually have to go in quarantine together, and or maybe you have to go in quarantine, and so you decide to do the quarantine together. And also, like, even though that's like the justice card, like I think he is very balanced. Like I think he is has a very balanced personality. Like, and that's maybe also why. Well, he's probably a Libra then, because justice is the card for Libra. So he I see that he sees a lot of potential in you, or will see a lot of potential in you, and I see that he will want to walk the line with you, or walk the mile with you, and I think he is going to be just as excited by your dreams as his own. Like, he may see that you have a great talent, and he will really encourage you and help you make your dreams come true. And I sense that he is actually quite selfless. He's someone who doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He will actually appreciate it if he could be like in the shadow and just help you shine. And I see that he might like subconsciously be grooming you for success, so that he will be able to share some of that success with you. That sounds weird. I don't know where it's coming from, but that's a weird concept, really. But somehow I get the sense that that's what's going on. I don't know. Because he's actually really, he seems really successful too. So, but like he's a type who, if he's told that there's a treasure on the top of some mountain, he would climb that mountain and risk his health in the process, because he's someone who sees everything as like an exciting challenge and an adventure, and nothing is too much work if he can see a payoff in the horizon. And quite frankly, he sees that in you too. and and so I'm just going to say that I do get the sense that he is a bit whipped by you. Like, you may be a bit, or will be, he will be that when you meet, or, but, so you might be a bit dominant, you might be a bit controlling, and you might, like, I do just do, although like it could have like this beautiful meaning of you just helping him get like become strong, but it does seem a bit like a dominant submissive like relationship, like, so you might be a bit dominant, and you may need to work on that a bit, because like you might demand, or you will, when you get into a relationship with this person, you might demand things from him that like other men would say no to, but he will happily do it because that's just how he is. Like, but you shouldn't take advantage of this personality trait, because if you treat him nicely and don't like abuse this power over him, then he will be like your biggest supporter, and he will catch you when you fall. And again, this well, this won't be like truly one-sided. I see that like he will benefit too, like he, from like you pushing him and motivating him, and maybe like being a bit dominant towards him, but like his support is like, it's like truly unique, and so that's really hard to come across. Like, he will think really highly of you, and he will admire you, and he will be your biggest fan. And so don't try to push the limit all the time to see where his limits are, like don't ask him for like foot rubs twice a day, or use him as a stepping board if you don't want your feet to get wet, or make him carry you home from the city because you chose like to wear heels that were like stilts. And like this dude will like go the extra mile to make you happy, and you should just maybe be happy about that. Don't push your luck with this one, because you have too much to lose, because these men are hard to come across. He's easy to enslave, but that doesn't mean you should enslave him. Just be happy that he's not like a dominant prick. And this Ace of Bows was reversed, so so I think that there may have been like some repressed emotions, like maybe something in his childhood has made him so selfless and without boundaries. Maybe he was taught to sacrifice himself at an early age, because like Ace of Cups in reverse can sometimes mean like a lack of love growing up, and so he might have had like maybe his parents were like in a very unbalanced relationship where his father or mother was very submissive and the other was very dominant, so he might be used to this behavior, and he might also have lost his parents, maybe especially his mother at an early age, or in any way felt abandoned by her. So he has been seeking women who become like a parent to him, and so he might enjoy when his partner tells him what to do, and he might also do whatever you ask because he has like a crippling fear of abandonment. He will like sacrifice himself completely to like prevent that from happening. Like I see that with the Hermit, that's the guide in this deck, the Hermit reversed. I see that I get the sense that in this context, the Hermit reversed kind of means that he is afraid of being the hermit, he's afraid of being alone, and he might also be afraid of looking too far into himself because he's afraid what he's going to see. Like he might be the type who occupies his brain at all times because he's afraid that if he is alone for too long with nothing to distract him, he will start thinking about some really hard and heavy things from his past, and so he is really afraid of loneliness. He's afraid of being alone, and I sense that this has a lot to do with one or both of his parents. Maybe he was abandoned, but maybe he was just really maybe he just lived in a really harsh environment. He might have experienced a lot of conflict in his childhood, and he might be a really good diplomat because of that. But also maybe don't argue with him about small and meaningless things, because this might trigger this person. But I think it really his childhood has really made him good at being if he wants to become a lawyer, for example, I think he actually will become a very good lawyer because he has a lot of practice in finding common grounds for people who are in conflict. And so he might not be the type who talks a lot about his emotions. He's the type who would rather show you his love through his actions, and one of those ways are by fulfilling your needs and demands. And so he might seem even maybe a bit distant and uninterested in you at times, and you might question his love for you because he doesn't show you his love that well. But he will be very much in love with you. I see that. He just won't know how to show it, and he might not have had the best role models growing up. So try to see his love in his actions instead, and not his words, and see how he gets out of his way to accommodate your needs. That's really a great thing he's doing, and it's very selfless in a way. So that's what I see for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time. So, bye. So, hello, group number 5. You chose this onyx, and so I see here that there's 2 personality traits, and with, like, if you look close here at the Knight of Swords, you can see that he has another face on his shoulder, and so I see that this person has 2 faces, like he could be a Gemini, and so also with the sun here, he could be a Leo, so he could also just be very tanned. So, but I see that he embodies both the traits of the King of Wands and the King of Swords, and so I see that he may have this King of Wands energy to him, where he is very calm and collected, and then he has this other side to him where he's a bit aggressive and easy to anger, and so he might like be it's not to be mean or anything, I just want to be real with you guys, but he might be like the type who is like a really good co-worker, like a hard-working co-worker, and who never argues or complains about anything at his workplace, and then when he comes home, like hell is loose, and he beats his wife and beats his children, and I'm not saying he's like that. That's an over-exaggeration, but he might be the type who has like a completely different persona in the public, in like his work in school, or with his own family, even, like his, besides you, of course, like, and then when he's with you, he might like be very different, and you may like, he might be like a criminaloid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but like, that's a criminaloid is like a criminal who has really mastered the skill of putting on a facade so that no one suspects him for anything. So I see that this facade is very honorable, and he's probably admired at his workplace, and then I just see that he snaps sometimes, like he can't control his anger sometimes, and I think that he is like that. I hate to be this mean, but like he might be that narcissistic type who lets his anger out on the person closest to him, like because he knows that this person won't abandon him or reject him. So the person who is closest is like the easiest target for his anger. And so I also see that he will only like show you this side to him when he's very comfortable with you and sure that you won't leave him. And so this side of him might first reveal itself to you when you are already quite engaged in the relationship. But maybe if you got him like drunk and like poked him for a very long time, like he would maybe reveal that side to you. So so maybe try that, but know that this won't be easy because he's really good at maintaining this facade. So one of the things that I see here is like one of the things that will be revealed, maybe will be revealed, is that he may actually be like quite misogynist, and you probably don't actually value your opinion very much. He probably doesn't want to argue with you, and I see that if you actually argue with him about something, he feels like he is like losing the argument, he will rather turn to personal attacks than admit that he's wrong. And that is because he has a really fragile ego and he can't actually stand to be with someone who is smarter than him, and this threatens him, and so he can justify verbally assaulting you in an argument because he felt assaulted by you outsmarting him. So he may also like reveal his like very immature nature in these arguments and really hit below the belt, and you could have been in an argument about politics, and like out of the blue he starts bringing up your relationship with your mother or something like that, and you were like just having a peaceful conversation about politics. And so also, if he's like a Leo, he could be very self-centered, and so and with the toaster here, like he could be the type who roasts people, but I actually see this more as a way of describing his appearance, because it says like on the toaster, like from like light to dark, and it's like somewhere in the middle, so he might be like a mixed skin tone, or he might be like tanned, also with the sun here, like he could be tanned, and and with the fairy here, he could be like a closeted homosexual, like so that's that. He could also, of course, just be a bit feminine, or maybe like bit focused on his appearance, and maybe he's like he might be good dresser, and he might use a lot of time on his hair, or maybe he goes to the gym a lot. So and with the world card here, he might he might be worldly, whether that is how like he sees himself or how others see him. I don't know, but you can only wonder. But he may be very good at seeing potential and opportunities, and he might see them mostly in a career sense, like he's really good at making things happen for himself. And okay, so with the woman here, and she's okay. I'm really not a fan of this person. Like, if this resonates with you at all, like, really dump this person. I'm not a fan at all. And so you can see here that the woman is like blowing up like balloons, and tying them around her waist, and this guy like here down here is like cutting them with scissors so that the balloons are like flying away. and this could be a symbol of him not being but if this is not you, and let's hope it's not you, this could be like just him being very reluctant to step on anyone's toes in order to get to the top. And this is allegedly like a good trait if you want to succeed in a career. It's just not a good trait in love, because he might be this jerk who is sabotaging your career, and making sure that you never reach, that your balloons never really reach for the stars, like that you won't like reach for the stars. So and with the tower here, like, you need to boot him out of this tower. Like, he might be a karmic, and you have found each other, or will find each other, because you need to learn a valuable lesson. And I think your lesson is that you should never date someone like this. And so as I'm being very real with you, I will add that, like, the king's ransom is here, and ransom is like bail. So this person may have been in prison, and that wouldn't even surprise me, really. So maybe he is currently in. I also see that he could, like, indirectly sabotage your career. Like, he could ruin your reputation by, like, you being associated with him. Like, if like you dating him might result in people hesitating to like work with you or collaborate with you because they know you're involved with this guy, and so he will like he could also like directly sabotage your career by discouraging you from pursuing your goals, but also he could be like he could actually spread false rumors about you. And also like with the cult crash, like it's a wordplay on culture crash, and I'm going to go with like culture crash as the interpretation right now, because I see that maybe you come from different cultures and or different backgrounds. Maybe he comes from a culture that doesn't value women as much. Like he may even like want you to be a housewife, and so he may not really be that supportive of you wanting a career or even having an opinion really. So he might be Muslim. I hate to say it, but like he could be. That would also explain if he's like a closeted homosexual, like because his religion doesn't allow him to be homosexual. I also see that for like the really few of you who where this is someone who has, well, that I don't think it's a really few. I don't think a few of you where this is someone who has been to prison before, or maybe juvie. I see that this behavior, like he has some bad behavior, he has some more, he has a bit of a shattered moral compass, and I see that he may have like gained that from his time in prison. So it may have started in prison, and he may have even gone to prison for like something really for like petty theft or something, and then learned some pretty sociopathic behavior while in prison, and that is like quite normal, I think. Like he may be like the type who imitates others, and especially if he went to juvie, he might have been the age where he was most prone to like imitation, and so I think he learned some behavior in prison, and he may also have learned how to make this facade that he has on in prison. And well, prison is essentially a bad place for like anyone. Like it's a place where like bad criminals like learn to be good criminals. Like so the bad criminals, they went to prison because they got caught, because they weren't careful enough and weren't like good enough criminals, and so they go to prison and they meet up with like more experienced criminals who were very careful, but the crime was just too big to like hide. So when these two meet, the experienced criminal can teach the bad criminal how to be like careful and how to create this facade that will help them walk around unnoticed. And so don't think that just because this person went to prison that he is now a changed man, because I don't think he is. And also this could also be someone who was like in an orphanage, like he might have been an orphan child, and then something a bit similar can happen, because orphanages like can have some bad seeds in them, and some orphanages have like many bad seeds, and so they start to imitate each other. So a good child can actually come into an orphanage and start to imitate bad behavior, and so this person could just have hanged out with like the wrong crowd growing up, but he is morally impaired. I see that even if it's learned behavior or not, it's still bad. So he could also have like felt, because he was an orphan or because he went to juvie or prison, that he had a stigma, like he felt like people shamed him or labeled him, and so instead of trying to change people's opinion of him, he just embraced that stigma and became like this bad seed. That's also a possibility in like minority groups that are like looked down upon or feared in some way, and so that could also be why he's like that, because he's a Muslim, because he has been people have been perceiving him in a certain way, so he felt like he couldn't change their views, so he could just as well embrace those views and embrace that stigma that he had been had put on by others. Like so I don't know why this is like relevant, but like I knew someone once who, like, and this was before like the coronavirus, he was like a psychopath, and he went to juvie, and he had this weird thing where he just didn't want to wash his hands. Like he didn't wash his hands like even after like touching raw chicken, or like he didn't even wash his hands after like going to the bathroom. And so this was just like a principle he had, and so I was quite furious about this. So I asked him, like, what if you make someone like sick? And then he like justified it by saying that, oh, the Western world is so clinical, and germs are great for the immune system, and he's just strengthening people's immune systems, and so he's actually making people healthier, and something like that. And so I asked him, like, what if like you gave your grandmother salmonella and it ended up killing her? How would you feel about that? And he said, oh well, the world is like overpopulated, so I would be doing Mother Earth a favor if I killed my grandmother. And so so that's like an example of someone who is so morally impaired that he and this person that you will be with in the future might be like that. He might justify everything with like these crazy, like he might have these crazy ways of justifying his actions. And so I think that's maybe something that's common for people who has been in like juvie or something like that. And like this is not to take the not to talk about the Muslim thing again, but like this could be the type who can like justify terrorism as an act of God. Like this sounds bad. I know. I'm not trying to freak you out or anything. And this might be like a mild case of that. Like this is maybe over exaggerated. I don't know, but he might be he might also be like from an alcoholic family, and because like alcoholics have also this tendency to never take accountability for their actions, and so this may have been passed on to like this to his son, and so but overall don't waste your time on this one. I really don't get a soulmate vibe at all. Like the only positive thing I can see you like gaining from this whole experience is that you might learn from him how to step on other people's toes in regards to your career. You might be too nice, and you might be the type that just lets people walk in front of you in the line, and even smile at them for doing it. And so you might learn from him to not be like a pushover and a people pleaser, and you might actually start fighting for what is rightfully yours. Like this person may feel too entitled and feel like he deserves much more than he actually does. And so if you could just get a quarter of that from him, like you would actually be able to really get very far in your career. So maybe let him teach you a thing or two about being like a selfish prick, like, because even though you go to even though you might go to heaven for being like this Mother Teresa type, you are not going to get that far in your career by being that. So a little selfishness might be just what you need right now. So that may be why the universe has put you together. But as soon as you've learned that, get the hell out of it. Like, don't waste too much time on this. And so that's what I get for you. I'm really sorry, group number 5. Like, I'm sorry this was such a negative reading, but I hope you like enjoyed it anyway. I hope you gained some clarity at least from this reading. And so please subscribe to my channel if you got anything out of this reading, and so I'll see you next time. So group number 6, you chose this red jasper, and so this is your reading. And so I see that unfortunately I don't have good news for you, because you will be single for for quite some time, and I'm really sorry to say that. So here you see, this is you, and you are, here is someone trying to like get inside like this, well, outdoor bathroom thing, but there's like with a heart on the door, and so I see that this is like, this sounds bad, but it's not. Well, it is, but so someone is trying to like get into your heart here, and he's like desperately like he's he, trying to get in, but you have like the key here, and you are not sharing the key with this person, and so that's a symbol of you like not really being open to a relationship right now. So I also, like, before I drew this card, I had I drew these two cards, and they are just instruction cards, so they are also a sign that there are no like suitors in this reading, and not that there will not be any in the future, but you will be single for a while, and so I see that like you might have like a few suitors around you, and they are like flirting with you, but you are turning them all down. So I see that you have a lot of love offers. So this problem is not that people are not interested in you. The problem is that you are not interested in them. So, or maybe you don't see all your options. And also I drew a lot of like tarot cards, but they mostly came out like reversed, and all the cards came out reversed besides the tower, and I didn't actually have that many reversed cards in the deck. Like I had only like shifted like maybe 10% of the cards. So you getting like 4 cards reversed was really well. That told me that that was a confirmation that there's not going to happen much in terms of love in the near future. Like, and also like with the tower here, like you might be giving too many people the boot at this point, and maybe that's not a bad thing. You might be overcompensating from a period where you gave people too many chances, and maybe they took advantage of them. So you might have developed this highly advanced sorting system so that you can protect your heart from selfish and like abusive jerks. So but now you have made it nearly impossible for people to pass. Like, so I feel like also like with the Rapunzel in reverse, like I feel like you have actually locked yourself in this tower. Like maybe someone, maybe this is complete reversed Rapunzel. Maybe someone kissed you or did something to you, even maybe while you were sleeping. It's not. I'm not trying to trigger anyone, but and so maybe this incident made you lock yourself up completely in the top of this tower, and you are not letting anyone near you again because of it. And I understand you completely. I actually think many women understand you, and maybe you should like start reaching out to women who has experienced something similar to you. If this is something, if something happened to you like in a previous relationship, and like maybe you can like make like an anonymous profile on like a forum for women and share your stories and read other women's stories. Like maybe Reddit has like a thread for that, so check that out. So I see that also with the chocolate and like chocolate cookies, I see that also with the stomach card and like the esophagus, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but with those cards I see that you may experience like heartburn or like stomach pain, and and this can be because you eat your feelings a bit, like so like maybe you should like consider like stopping that, like, because, well, I'm not going to say that you should stop eating your feelings, because we all need to do that sometimes, and sometimes food is the best comfort, and so I would personally feel very annoyed if people lectured me on what I was supposed to eat. But maybe if you are like experiencing like stomach pain and heartburn, then maybe consider eating a bit healthier just to relieve your stomach pain. The stomach pain could also be like psychosomatic, like a psychosomatic response to your experience, and if that's the case, then maybe contact your doctor or a therapist or something. So what I see here with the star reversed and the Fool reversed and the Change reversed, like the Two of Pentacles reversed. I see that you have abandoned hope, like for love, and like the Star reversed. Like so you have abandoned hope, and you may also have like be afraid of change, and with the Fool reversed you may be very like reluctant to take any leap of faith, and with any like, and you are not probably afraid of this with like any potential lover, and also with like with the Ace of Swords reversed, you may experience a lot of illusions and see too many warning signs around you, and you may misinterpret what people say, and you may have a lot of fear and anxiety. You think that everyone that shows any interest in you have like bad intentions, but that is not necessarily true, and you shouldn't let your previous boyfriend have such a big role in your life that you see him in everyone you meet. I also see with the magic spell card here, you might have been doing some black magic on him, and if not black magic, you may have been like wishing bad things to happen to him. You may even have prayed for bad things to happen to him, not because you are a bad person, but because you felt like he never truly felt any or got any consequences or had like from his actions, and so I see that this has been weighing heavily on you, and you have tried to take the power of God like in your own hands, and to like ensure that he got what he deserved. And I'll just say that we have all been there. Like I did candle magic on the guy who like abused me sexually a while back, and like I really regret that I did that, but I was just so furious that he could do this to me, and at the same, well, what he did like made I couldn't attend school because of what he did, so I had to like redo a whole year of my education because I couldn't concentrate, and then I saw like pictures of him on social media where he was like having the time of his life and living his best life, and so I sought like help from the divine in order for him to like experience just the teeny tiny bit of hardship in his life. Like, so well, it didn't even work. So, and someone gave me the great advice that I should remember that like when you do black magic you on someone else, you are sacrificing yourself in the process. So don't do that. What I want you to do instead is like, and I know that it sounds so annoying, but like start forgiving him. And it's not for the same like reason that other people tend to want to say this, but like you know that forgiveness is like I hate when people say that forgiveness is like for you and not for him. Like I think that's bullshit. I'm the only time that's like relevant is when the mother flipper is dead, like not when he is alive. And you should never like forgive someone to their face if they are not deserving, because that just gives that person the wrong idea and he might continue the bad behavior. But I want you to forgive him spiritually. When you pray, tell your deity of whatever kind you have, like that you don't want anything to do with him anymore. Just try to erase him. And in a sense, erasing a person is kind of like forgiving them, because you are not seeking vengeance anymore, and you're not seeking reconciliation either. Like you are just seeking peace and relief, because rest assured that like God knows what he did, even if you feel like no one else truly knows. Rest assured that he knows perfectly well what this person did and how that has affected you. And I know that a lot of misconception has been like lurking around in like the Christian faith, and that is that God can actually punish sinners throughout their life on earth, and this is just not true. You need to wait until Judgment Day and rest assured that this person will get judged for what he did to you. And in order for you to not get judged too, you need to forgive him, because you forgiving him will also be written in the great books. Like if you also like try to maybe understand. I know that this is very much to ask of you, but try to try to understand him a bit. It can help you heal. One of the things that helped me was to and also like if this is if you have not been assaulted or abused or anything like that by your ex-boyfriend, then this could also be like that he hurt you, like hurt your feelings very much, or were in any way like maybe he ended things in a very bad way, or did something that was not okay while you were together, and so maybe you have a lot of resentment to him because of this. So if that's the case, then this will also be a message to you to like try to understand where he came from. Like this of course only works if this was actually kind of a relationship, like if you had a relationship prior to the incident, if there were an incident. But to me, like I thought about like how he had been abandoned early on by his mother, and I knew that he had been telling me a few days prior to the incident that I resembled his mother, and I remember that he actually said this with like a positive tone as like a compliment, and I remember being a bit confused because I thought, well, didn't your mother kick you out of the house when you were like 13? So that's not a compliment to be like your mother. And so then he got aggressive one day when we were intimate, and maybe he wasn't actually punishing me. Maybe he was punishing his mother through me. And it occurred to me out of the blue that this wasn't the first time he had done this. Before the incident, he told me that he had served time in juvie, and okay, this should probably have been a red flag, but he told me that it was because he had been in a home for like troublesome kids after he had been kicked out of his home by his mother, and one of the workers at this home had told him to turn off the TV and do his chores, and he had totally flipped out on and punished this poor man by punching him in the face. And well, I asked him what he thought triggered that response, and he said that he didn't actually know he actually liked the guy, but by the description that he has given me of his mother, he could actually have resembled his mother when he was setting boundaries for him. And I think he reacted to the frustration of being abandoned by his mother more than just being like a spoiled brat that wanted to watch TV. So he was like punishing his mother through this worker, social worker or something, like, and so now, sorry, I've been talking too much about myself, but like maybe I know that you shouldn't make excuses for him, because there's no excuses for what he did to you. But maybe you can like start to understand him better, and maybe also you can start pitying him. And I know this sounds like really weird, but like pity is like the greatest way to like belittle him, like, and by belittling him, you are stopping him from having a big impact in your life, because like then he becomes like teeny tiny and pathetic, and so this will also like eliminate any feelings of you actually having any blame or like part in this, that it was him having unresolved issues and he was just releasing them, and you just happened to stand there at the wrong place at the wrong time, and if it hadn't been you, it had been someone else, and you were not the problem. You were just very damn unlucky to have met this person in the first place, and rest assured that you won't be this unlucky next time. And you should also remember that even though there might have been red flags too in your incident, that doesn't mean that you were wrong for picking him. Your intuition wasn't out of sync. You, just because you didn't realize that this could potentially happen to you, there was nothing wrong with you actually seeing the good in a person, because maybe there was actually good in him. No one is born evil. They turn evil, and whoever turned this person evil is the true target for your like bad juju, even though I still don't think you should do that. Like, I don't think you should be casting any spells. But your intuition was right for finding the good in him. But he was just not good for you. And he is probably not good for anyone. And he will have trouble in his love life. And let that be the bad karma he will experience. And you need to just heal yourself, start trusting people again, and please promise me that you won't get back together with this person. Like, you can't save him. Let him be the charity case for some other poor woman. Like, not you. And also, like, if you feel like it, then maybe completely stamp yourself out of the dating game for a while, until you are healed and until you can trust people again. Because if you were anything like me before, I see that you were really trusting. Also, if this isn't like, this could also just be that, or not just like, this could also be that you were with someone who cheated on you, and that's a really big a break of trust. So that's also very can be very damaging, and can be the reason why you don't trust people. But you should start trusting people again, but only when you're ready. And because I see that you were really trusting, like, you were the fool. You gave everything, you gave everyone the benefit of the doubt, and right now you are like the fool in reverse, and you need to become the fool upright again and find your naivety, because this is how we should be. Like, the fool seems like a fool, but the fool is actually very experienced, but he's like smart enough to leave his experience in the past and start any new adventure or experience with like a clean slate, like without any baggage, because you're missing a lot of great opportunities because you are letting your experiences blind you, like your past experiences blind you. And so really I see that moving forward you will have a period of self-healing, and you will build your trust again, and I think you will eventually be able to leave this whole experience in the past. You won't forget about it, but you won't allow him to occupy your brain without like your permission. And this is very important. People say that we should like learn from our experiences, and sometimes people will even like blame a victim because they didn't realize that they were in danger. Like, for example, people tend to shake their head when they hear stories of girls sharing nude pictures with their boyfriends. and they blame them for taking that risk in the first place. Like, they should have known from experience that could happen to them. They should even know that from like a collective experience. Like, they should have known from articles and news stories that this was a dangerous territory to enter. Like, but people sending nudes are actually truly magnificent people. Like, they probably know the risk, but they send them anyway. Like, because they must know somewhere in their heart that they will actually lose a lot more from jeopardizing their natural trust in people. That being able to make a decision built on trust is actually a lot more valuable than making a decision built on experience. And that is why I find like victim blaming so wrong, because the concept changes our culture and makes us look down upon trust, and that's why the Fool is perceived as a negative card by many people in their like first impression of it, because it actually and that's actually really a shame, because like it's such a it's the most important card in the deck. Without it, none of the other cards in the major arcana would exist, because it's the Fool's journey. And if he hadn't made the leap of faith at first in the beginning, even though like this dog was warning him, like not in this deck but in like Rider-Waite's deck, he like then he wouldn't have had this like journey in the first place, the journey of life. And remember that your parents took a risk in order to conceive you, and like, so trust is an essential thing in life. We can't let past experiences stop us in building new ones. I hope you're not like, well, I hope you're not discouraged, because I know that I couldn't get any like I couldn't channel any new love interests coming in, and because maybe like your next boyfriend or girlfriend, like maybe you are going to be your next girlfriend, like you need to date yourself for a period of time, and so I'm not seeing that you are just going to be single your whole life. I just see that your next love is going to be you, and that's really beautiful. And so really embrace yourself and so that's what I see for you, group number 6. And I hope you enjoyed this reading, even though it was on the heavy side. And so if you did, then please subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you next time. And bye. And also, if this is not resonating with you at all, please choose another pile, because I don't wish this message on anyone. So if there's a message in one of the other piles, then I think you should try to find that. And so have a really great healing time, and by